Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Woke by Accident podcast. It is a weekly chat about socially conscious topics impacting the culture. On this episode, we are joined by Sambaza, host and creator of the Sambaza podcast. Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Woke by Accident podcast, a weekly chat about socially conscious topics impacting the culture. We are excited to have our co-host, Sambaza, host and creator of the Sambaza podcast, a remarkable figure in the podcasting world, hailing from the Republic of Kenya. He has garnered 3 nominations for the Best African Diasporan Podcast by the APVA, the African Podcast and Voice Awards. In addition, he also was nominated for Best Blog by the Texas Creator Awards and was a featured presenter at the Afros and Audio Podcast Festival for 2023 and 2024. And he recently participated at the 2025 Podfest. Hey, Sambaza.
Hey, what's up, Jen? How you doing?
Hey, pretty good.
And we're back for another week. It's been great. I think we've arranged a good show. I think we have some great stuff for the guys today. I'm thankful for this week actually, and we're live on TikTok and also on Clubhouse under the East African Excellence Clubhouse. And how about you? How's your week been?
Going pretty well. And thank you for setting up the additional platforms. Like as Sambaza said, we are live on the Clubhouse audio platform and the TikTok. We are also live over there. So shout out to the chat in those places. And this audio episode will be out very soon. I am way caught up, so it'll be out sooner than later. And yeah, we love pop culture. So, we enjoy talking about these types of topics. So excited for our topic today, which we will be talking about lessons that we learned from Miss Cardi B in the Cardi B trial, which we got an exciting update today that we will share. But before we get into all the things, why don't you share affirmation?
Sure. The affirmation for today is, regardless of the outcome, I am supported. So regardless of whatever outcome there is, I am supported all the time.
Okay, that's what's up. So thank you for sharing the affirmation. As we have talked about many times on the podcast, we definitely want to share and continue positive mental health behaviors, and sharing affirmation is an excellent way to do so. What about an African proverb?
Oh, okay. So once we left here, it took me about 21 hours, and I landed in the country of Tanzania.
Okay.
Right. So Tanzania is an East African country. Actually, it's known for its plains, the Serengeti National Park, and it also home to the Big Five. Now, you know the Big Five. These are the animals. So I'll tell you what the Big Five is. It's the elephant, the lion, the leopard, the buffalo, and the rhino. So when you hear people talking about the Big Five, those are the Big Five animals that they're talking about. And then there's Kilimanjaro National Park, actually, which has the Kilimanjaro mountain. And also, it's Africa's highest mountain so far. Now, offshore, Tanzania is consisting of is an island called Zanzibar. Jen, you want to go there? That place is lively. It's like the Hawaii of the East African coast.
So you've actually been here, like for real?
Zanzibar. I haven't been to Zanzibar. I've been to Tanzania.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, fun facts about Tanzania. This is the birthplace of mankind. Kenyans, your president was not telling you the truth. So there's a place called Olduvai Gorge, which is called the cradle of mankind, and is an archaeological site in Tanzania, where some of the oldest hominin fossils have been discovered. The Kenyan president was purporting a couple of weeks ago that Kenya was the home of was the birthplace of mankind, and we're like,
okay.
And do you know Freddie Mercury?
I do.
The Queen lead singer. Yeah. So Freddie Mercury was born in Tanzania.
Okay. R.I.P. Yeah.
And so, talking about Zanzibar. Sorry about that. Talking about Zanzibar, it's called the Spice Islands, right? So the
Mm-hmm.
island of Zanzibar and Pemba are known for spices, so that's why they're called Spice Islands, and are famous for producing high quality cloves, nutmeg, and other spices. And that's the
Mm-hmm.
reason for the East African trade between the Omani Arabs and Tanzania. Now, there's a whole history about that people kind of want to understand, but it's really really interesting. We went to when we were just the other day. We were in Kenya. It was nice. The history, the culture, the food. Jen, I keep telling you, you need to come to Kenya. Come on, let's work on
Mm.
this. All right. So, proverb of the day. It says, "Better stumble with your toe than with your tongue." That's the proverb. Now,
Okay.
we decipher with that.
Better to stumble
Go.
with toe than tongue. Well, I guess like making a mistake, like these things happen. I don't know. That's probably not right.
That it?
Making mistakes and learning from your mistakes. How about that?
Okay. So, Jen, okay, when you look at it, if you hit your toe, the first thing you're gonna do is say "ouch," right?
Okay.
But when you say "ouch," it's personal. It's not intended to go out. It's within. But when you stumble with your toe with your tongue, you're probably
Right.
talking about somebody.
Okay. Which is
So
doing more damage or like what are
yeah,
you
damage. Yeah.
okay.
So you'd rather knock your toe somewhere than stumble with your tongue. So I'm trying to think
Like
of,
the consequences, right?
yeah, the consequences.
Are
So
more
sometimes,
severe.
yeah, sometimes it's best to kind of watch how you react. You might want to react with something that hurts you from within, than rather than stumble with your, speak on it, like trying to you express yourself.
Okay. All right.
Stay in pain for that moment and
Uh-huh.
wait, rather than go out and say, "Hey, blah 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 blah," and then hurt somebody in the act of trying to express yourself. So sometimes just hold on and then wait.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. I received that. I get it. I get it. Thank you for sharing the African proverb from in the fun facts and information. We appreciate that. And I think we will introduce our topic at this time. So, like we said, lessons from the Cardi B trial. If you may not be aware, I know I've asked a few friends, like, are you following this Cardi B trial? And some people are like, no, I'm not following it. So, it's been going on. It actually concluded today. So, a high profile civil trial involving Cardi B and a former security guard of a particular Beverly Hills doctor's office and it spiraled into this viral courtroom drama that you may have seen on YouTube and things like that. But digging deeper, as we always like to dig deeper, it made me think about some questions about privacy, fandom, celebrity culture, content creation, the ethics of going viral. So that's what we want to talk about today is like kind of behind the reason this trial came about, and as content creators, what do we think about this, fandom moments, privacy, where is the line drawn and things like that. So that's what we will talk about. Before I'm going to give you a recap of the incident in question for this particular civil trial, but just initial thoughts based on that first.
I think it's a good topic that we need to talk about as podcasters. We do have a responsibility. I think it's I can say part of journalism, because we're journalists in some ways, and there's some etiquette that you have to abide by. Though this is not necessarily with everyone. We're looking at it from both lenses.
Right.
From your side as the person who's watching this or listening to this, or and as us who are on the other side, as the people who create content for you. I mean, we're not superstars in our. I'm a superstar in my world, but you know, I haven't gotten to that level where I have to walk with security guards and stuff like that, or have to worry about where I'm going to. No, I
Hmm.
hope not. But we just walk freely and walk around the world. Yes, we do have fans, people who we enjoy it, but I think it's our peers. To me, I'll say my peers are the ones who I interact with, so I don't have to worry about anything else.
But I mean, even still, there, conflict can arise. I think both of us have experienced. I think any content creator, if you put yourself out on Instagram or TikTok, or even out on the airways of a podcast, in this airspace that is global. It's like literally you can hear our both of our individual podcasts in many countries. Someone somewhere out there can have a difference of opinion, or kind of give you the business if they wanted to, come and bring you the business if they wanted to. So put a pin in that. And think about that. So this showed up in real life for Cardi B, pregnant at the time. This is way back in 2018. So this is like when she first came out, and got really high celebrity fame from her first track and things like that. So she was pregnant at the time. She encountered the security guard at her OB/GYN's office in LA. And then there's allegations that the security guard recorded Cardi B without her consent, and that led to a very heated confrontation that was seen by the receptionist. The doctor even came out in the hallway. It's this big commotion. So, in addition, a $24 million lawsuit ensued, filed by the security guard who, was at the kind of beginning of this encounter, if you will. So, privacy invasion, emotional distress, um, assault. These are the claims that were a part of this lawsuit. Cardi B denied all physical contact and said that the altercation was strictly verbal. So, verbal, but finger pointing and, close together, but no contact is what she expressed in her testimony, which was, pretty entertaining. I have a small clip that we can show, and I will show that later, but that's kind of like what it started with. But what's really interesting to me is that this started with her, like, a fan out moment. Like, she literally, see her coming down the hall or whatever it was, and, oh, you're Cardi B, and that's initial fan excitement of seeing your favorite celebrity, and then breaking out your phone. She makes the decision to start filming, allegedly, and then that is started the conflict, if you will. So that's kind of like at the meat and potatoes of the suit, but just like I said, digging deeper, that initial encounter, which really should have been a pleasant, friendly moment and things like that, went completely left. So, what are your thoughts on that initial encounter with a celebrity and things like that?
My first question would be: was there anything wrong with the security guard? Because that's not normal behavior. There are okay. There are three kinds of fans.
Okay.
There's the one fan who will blush and not even want to speak to you. They'll just have their moments and just smile at you, and then you're like, okay, cool. And then the celebrity will be like, hey. Then there's that one who will approach you and say, hey, can I take a picture with you? And you take a picture, and then now there's this kind of a fan. Now this is the one
Right.
that's the dangerous one, and I think you're on a different level when you are acting out like that. So
Mhm.
that was my first thing when I heard about it. I thought, I was like, how does it start from I want to take a picture to this other part? And
But it
yeah,
wasn't even, I want to take a picture. It was just like following her, like literally just stalking her down this hallway. And she's like, and she even asked
wait,
her, why are you following me? And she said, because I can. And then it went into this aggression mode of, I'm a security guard, so I'm going to use my position to kind of manipulate the moment type of thing.
and that's where the question lies. You're
Hmm.
away from your post because you have a post that you're supposed to be at. Or if she asks
Right.
you, oh, I'm looking for the doctor's place, you're like, okay, this is where the doc. I'm assuming that's her job. once you get to the office, your job is done. And so why are you following her all that way?
Right.
So yeah, there's something that's lacking. And then after you say the 24 million, I'm looking at 24 million.
Exactly. So, like, even if she did scratch her face with, they made this big show about the fingernails and that she could scratch or draw blood with these long fingernails, which she said it wasn't even long at the time because she knew she was having a baby, so they weren't that long and things like that. That was a really big part of, some of the questions around the fingernails because apparently she alleged she got scratched or poked or something like that. But yeah, 24 million of damages like that completely seemed excessive. And the questions that they were asking, just talking about the trial for a second, was crazy. They asked like if she was affiliated with a gang, how did she get her money? Did she have a record deal? Like just really, and shout out to her lawyer who was like relevance, objection, relevance, because like these, and then asking her about her hair and well, you had blonde hair yesterday and you have
Yeah.
like, what the hell does that have to do with anything? Nothing.
No, no. You know what I've heard? Lawyers try to get you, throw you off. So they just talk you a conversation, and then you just blurt out something that's off, and then that's
Well,
how.
and I think I see what he was trying to do. Like, if I can just rile her up and stir the pot, talk about her hair, talk about her nails, ask if she was in a gang, ask about loving him, anything to just, they probably looked at some of her lyrics and, just anything to try to razzle her and get her worked up to the point like, yeah, I hit her, and it didn't work because she was very calm, collective. And even when, the funny moments that people keep sharing, she's very still calm and cool, in her delivery of it, which was pretty awesome. So,
So I like to start off from the beginning, right? Not of that of the show of the show, but of this whole narrative, right?
yeah.
Jen, everyone looks at a superstar, well, called superstar, star, whatever, movie star, whatever. You, I don't know if you ask for that moment, but once you're labeled into that, you don't have a choice. Your privacy is
Mhm.
gone.
And I think they
You have
realized
to
that.
choose.
I
You have
think
to
they
choose a lot.
realized that for a little bit.
Right. So the other, I'm playing the devil's advocate here. So don't try to
Hmm.
play like, hey, you know what? I am going to act normal. No, you're not normal. It's the same thing. Is Steph Curry? I remember Steph Curry's dad was talking about it on ESPN.
Hmm.
He said one day he was out of the blue. He was just a nobody. Went to the game, Davidson, when he was in Davidson. He scored like 30 points, 40 points. Then the dad gets a call and is told, "Do you need security?" He's like, the next day, the next game, he's like, Huh. When he showed up, then that's when he realized he does need security. And
Oh,
from that
wow.
day on,
Okay.
he needed
Hmm.
security. So you expect that to happen. So with her, what were you trying to do being alone? You're Cardi B, right?
And that was another thing. She actually did have security, but she had him wait at the car instead of come up. If I'm her, my security is with me. You know what I mean? Like she should have had him, and if he would have been with her, it would have been a whole different ball game. That lady would have backed up. She wouldn't have been all, but she was like, oh, she alone. She's alone. Like if she wanted to rob her or something, she probably could have.
So I think maybe that was a lapse in judgment for her,
Hmm.
that she's
Hmm.
going to learn. She had learned from it because yeah, the only time you're going to be free is when you're in that room with your OBGYN, or once you leave that door, that's it. You game.
Right. And
So
this is really serious because I mentioned the robbery theory, but that's happened to I can't think of the rapper's name, but he was like at Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles or some like diner restaurant with his girlfriend, and because he didn't have any security around him, he got this big chain on or whatever he had, and people came in there, and I think he was shot. I was gonna come to me. I'll look it up while we're talking. But yeah, so it could have been like a really harmful situation.
yeah, so
Mhm.
it's just a lapse of judgment. However, now we're looking at it from her lens where she should have realized that, hey, I have fans. I'm going to this OBGYN. I still need security. Security does not sit in the car. Security goes with you all the way to the door and then
Mhm.
stops at the door, and then that's their job. That's what you're supposed to do. But anyway,
Right.
instructions. Now she learned, and for the most part, you asked for it. You wanted to be a singer. The stuff that you have to align with is what comes with the package. You cannot
Right.
say, "Oh, I want to be a singer and then I want to go walk in the hood just like that." LeBron James cannot walk down in Ohio just like the way he wants to. No, he'll be mobbed.
Right.
5-10 minutes he shows up. Not even 5-10 minutes. Within 2 minutes he opens the door. He'll be mobbed. That's the problem.
Absolutely.
It takes a different character of somebody to be actually be able to rise above that and just be calm to whereby they can go to their neighborhood and walk around. Even when they're doing these videos of them going back to their home, these famous
Mhm.
stars, they'll be people will be told, "Hey, no, you need to walk back off, let them walk around and show the place. Otherwise, they'll be mobbed."
Yeah.
So it comes with the territory. So yeah, unfortunately, then you
Sadly,
have
yeah.
different kinds of fans. Now let's go to the fan and privacy.
Yeah, privacy. So, okay, so we want to
It's
talk
hard.
about the celebrity privacy and the fan culture. Like you said, that is there privacy gone out the window now that they, are in the public eye like that? But you would think going to a doctor's appointment, you would be, I don't know, like you said, she had a hoodie on, she didn't have all makeup done, and none of the, so you really would have had to be looking for her to know that it was her in the first place, you know.
I'll tell you a story. People will not of my generation will know when Lauren Hill was a superstar. Remember when Lauren Hill started off with the Fugees?
Yeah.
When she was just starting with the Fugees and she was a hot item, she came to Kenya and she managed to pull off that stunt where she came to watch a rugby game, and this place was
Okay.
packed. But it was dark, it was at night, and she came and sat down with guys, and people were busy cheering and they were watching the game. So rumor had it was a rumor that Lauren Hill came and watched a rugby game, floodlights. It was they play rugby in the night, so they have the floodlights. So it's called floodlights.
Right.
It's true. She was there, but how the way she was able to canvas herself is it was dark, but she had her security with her, so people did not realize it, and people would not think of her actually being there. That's the only time
Mm.
somebody was able to pull that off. A super.
Yeah.
So it's hard. You cannot do it. So fans will always be around you and try to. Your privacy goes out of the window. That's why they tell you, you have to make yourself less available to the people. You start cutting off your ties with people. You don't, people
Yeah.
start talking about you. People make up stories about you. With this
True.
idea, we talk about the fandom and stuff. So, um, the part where now we're moving to this part where now I'm talking about the person themselves. Cardi B is a human being. She deserves her privacy. She deserves her time as being person. What I think at that moment she wanted to be a person. She wanted to feel like a person, like a
Absolutely.
woman
Right.
who's having a baby wants to go to the doctor. That is your moment, right?
Mhm.
But this security guard took it away from her. Now, was it right or wrong? That's it's debatable. But the fact that the compassion, I'm looking at also the compassion side. You have to be compassionate with Cardi B because she's human. She has a
Oh,
she
yeah.
she has feelings. So her
Oh,
feeling at that time
absolutely.
was that I want to be alone to go see the OBGYN. Now here you come in and force yourself like it's a must that she has to be that star that you see on TV. You see that, and that's what the thing. There's a person on TV and there's a person who's here that you see walking down
Mhm.
normally down the street.
Mhm.
Those are two different people.
Yes, definitely. And she admitted that she, cursed her out and, called her a bee and, get out my face, whatever. I mean, you gotta try to defend yourself. Because there's no security around. You're in a lonely hallway with some girl following you down the hallway. You would be concerned. But thank God the aggression didn't, get very physical where someone could have got hurt like badly. It could have ended up really bad. So, and then the HIPAA violation, you know what I mean? If she was recording her and, disclosing that she is pregnant, that's a HIPAA violation. I mean, at the very least, this security guard should have been fired and lost her job, for her conduct, like leaving her post, getting into a disturbance like that. I, our note says that she was, and then maybe that was part of the lawsuit of like lost wages or something like that. Because some people said she wasn't making that kind of money. She wasn't making that kind of money.
But even though with the fact that you,
like, I lost wages because you hit me and assaulted me. That's why I'm suing you for the $24 million because I lost my job. But
I guess being hit in Hollywood is different because I remember Kanye West one time pushed a photographer, paparazzi. The paparazzi fell down. Next thing you know, he had a cast in his neck. Okay, I'm not making fun of it, but okay, it is funny. Why? So I guess there are levels. So when you go to Beverly Hills and you get hurt in Beverly Hills, you demand a certain type of health benefit. Unlike if you get you meet a rapper down the street here in Fort Worth or whatever in Dallas, hey, it's going to be a different level.
Right. And then the update of today was that they did have the verdict and Cardi B was cleared of all of the charges. So Cardi B wins. Yay. So it was like I had 5 or 6, different things she was facing, and the jury unanimously cleared her of all of it. The emotional distress and the assault and all the things that this security guard was alleging in this lawsuit. So she was cleared of the whole thing. And she made a statement about, I think that they were hoping that she would settle and get this payday. And she said, no, I work hard for my money and I'm not giving it to you. And she said, next time this happens, I'm going to countersue, and I think other celebrities, I think Jay-Z did something similar when he was facing some allegations that came or turned out to be unfounded, and he countersued the person. And I don't know if it all fizzled out, but I think of them, I guess it's a trend of them wanting to fight back against the non-celebrities, right?
Yeah, most of the time it's one of those situations where you kind of have to countersue. I think you settle sometimes just to avoid all the hoopla, considering the amount.
Right.
You should have asked for 100,000 or 200,000 or 300,000. She probably would have gotten it. The lawyer would have said, "You know what, Cardi B, you probably make this in a couple, whenever, just settle. Let's get rid of it." But 24 million, you ain't never gonna get that. That's a whole picture. Even if she said 1 million, you probably would have got. They would have talked it out, and she probably would have gotten 800 or 100,000, something like that. But 24, no, I'm sorry, lady, you were pushing way too far.
She's like, let's go to court. Let's go to court.
And here you are, you just lost. But countersuing is good because you're going for your rights. And I like what she said. She said, this time this is a warning. I'm not coming after you. I'm not gonna countersue on this one, but next time somebody tries this, I'm gonna countersue, and we'll see how far you will go. So it is one of other people who do that. By the way, Jen, are you a fan of Cardi B? Because you've really been on this.
Enjoy hip hop, widely across, and she is a hip hop artist. So I am in tune with Cardi B.
You're in tune with Cardi B, but do you like Cardi B?
I do like Cardi B, and actually, follow her from when she first came out with some love of hip hop before she even, got her album and stuff like that. So just being, like I said, I'm a big pop culture junkie. So anything having to do with, the celebrities and stuff like that, I usually have an ear out and I kind of know what's going on just because I just a big pop culture kid. So yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, it's good. It's good.
Yeah, I mean,
I
she's entertaining at
like
the
to
least
know
below. We work out to her in my
which
exercise class, you know.
question.
So yeah,
She was in Love and Hip Hop? Which one?
right.
Which Love and Hip Hop?
Oh, I want to say New York or
Oh,
was it Atlanta? I don't even. Sheesh.
I think
It might have been New
maybe
York.
Atlanta, not Atlanta.
I don't think she was part of the Atlanta because
No.
Atlanta is like Little Scrappy and all those guys.
Oh, okay.
She's
What happened?
East Coast, so because that was another thing. Like she was going to the doctor in L.A., but she's from East Coast. But I think she did move to Atlanta when she was dating some Atlanta rappers at that particular time, or a particular Atlanta rapper at the particular time. But she was in L.A. obviously for business and
Who?
things like that. Huh?
Who? Who was she dating?
Oh my gosh! The guy from the Migos.
Which guy from? Oh, the Migos. One of the Migos.
Yeah, she has a child with um
Offset.
shit. One of the Migos. Is that Offset? Is that the one that died?
Offset, the one that died. Oh,
Oh no! Don't give me the lion. Now I gotta look it up.
now
Takeoff
you
is the
know.
one that died. Okay, Offset is the one that she was with. Because you know what? Fun fact, or not a fun fact, he has a child with a woman that lives in St. Louis. But anyway, another child. But yeah, I think Offset is her guy. Yeah, because Quavo is the other one, and Quavo is the one that used to go with Sweetie. So yeah, Offset, but they're not together anymore. So
Oh, so that was Offset's baby. That she
yeah,
was.
because this is when she first came out, and yeah,
Oh,
so
okay. Thank you for that tidbit of news stories, Hollywood
look,
news stories.
normally I be feeling like old and don't be knowing what's going on, but like I said, I'm a pop culture kid. Like, look, I even know a little bit about Taylor Swift, and my husband made fun of me. I made a reel for our anniversary, and I had a Taylor Swift song playing in the background. I don't know if you saw that or not, but it was a cute song, so I thought it was appropriate.
Oh, okay.
Did you
Well,
see it?
I really appreciate. I'm Afrobeats. Singing music, so it takes a little bit of time, and sometimes it's actually the kids that get me listening to some stuff. I'm like, "What are you listening to?"
Hmm.
And they're like, "Oh, you
Yeah,
don't know this,
I
you
like
don't
Afro
know."
beats.
Yeah, but I pop culture songs and stuff. I hey Eminem after Eminem, that
Oh
was
God.
that lot was that's it. Yeah, yeah, that's my
Okay.
key.
Look, swing it
Now
back to the outline.
back from this culture, whatever pop culture music scenes that we talked about.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about situations where you've had encounters. Have you ever had an encounter with a with a celebrity, and what did you do?
Yes, just a very few. We are big concert junkies around here, and so it was one point in time we were going to like every single concert that came to town and things
That's
like
nice.
that. But yeah, when I was a college student, we got to meet because MTV had came to campus when I was attending Mizzou for a period of time. And it was De La Soul, Wyclef,
Nice.
and it was so cool because me and my friend we volunteered with the MTV. Like, oh, if you volunteer, you get to go to the show for free. So we volunteered, and I don't know, like did something with the flyers and passed out. It was just, like really easy stuff, and we got to meet De La Soul. And it was really cool, and it's kind of sad because one of those guys passed away now. One of the guys, his
My
son
number
plays in
is
the NFL.
222. I got an S machine. I can talk to you.
Yes.
How you doing?
So they were super cool, super dope.
My wife loves it.
You know who else I met? I met the just like this is like going to get out when they used to have like the record store album signings and you would go and get in line and get an autograph and stuff like that. I met the Clips like that a long time ago in an album signing. The band, you know, Puff Daddy reality show, the band. So that
You
was
sign the the LPs or you sign the CDs.
you know what? I'm gonna throw something at you. It was a
There's
CD.
nothing wrong. Nowadays they're coming back. LPs are coming back.
I know, but look, this
It's
look,
just a
I don't
generation.
know
It
how
just skipped a
old you
generation.
think I am,
No,
but
it
you
just
wouldn't
skipped a
know.
generation. It just you could have had. They, I think that no. Okay, yeah, they stopped around the CDs. They stopped making LPs.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
hello.
nowadays they have. Nowadays you get an option. You either want to get a CD, LP, or you download it online.
No, I was not in line with my album getting for Rick James. Not that kind of party. I'm hurt you. Anyway.
So for me, let me see who I've met. I've met I've met well, a Kenyan band called Sauti Soul, and the other one I guess I'll cheat because there's this Kenyan rapper musician. He's called Nonini, and he's a family friend, personal friend, close. We grew up together. So with him, it's normal. I've seen him on both sides. So on stage and away from stage, and I- this is the weird part. Now, like you say, your privacy, right? I value his privacy, and normally I don't usually talk about him. And I, the interactions we have, I keep them private. I and I've met celebrities. The mushrooms. When I did the when I went and did a podcast conversation, I took pictures,
Mhm.
but I keep them separate because I think they have their own lifestyle that you have to keep separate. So I don't tell people, I don't show the pictures, I don't put them out there. I'm sorry, if you're a celebrity, you meet me and we take a picture. Chances are it's not gonna come on my post. It's not gonna you're not gonna see it on my page. That's what I vowed
Mhm.
to myself. Uh, and Sauti Soul, I met them. They signed they actually signed my cap, which I keep here in my house. All of them.
Okay.
And I noticed one of the Kenyan, and this is just me. One of the Kenyan, that's how I behave when I don't get that fan thingy moment. I'm like, "Eh," or I'm the one that smiles, and then having understood what goes on through their mind and understand that they're real people. Sometimes I'm like, you know what? Let me just say hi or just smile at them, and I think I make a greater impact to them. They notice that because you have acknowledged them as a human being. I've
Mhm.
not rushed at you like a fan, like, hey, I'm not like, oh man, yeah,
Right.
no, no, no. You happen to be you're a normal person. This is what your time is. You want it to be. This is how your timing is. You wanted to be yourself. So I'm letting you be
Right.
yourself. So if it push comes to shove, I'll say, hey, what's up? Bye.
And I think that's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
So one of the Kenyan musicians is called Nyashinsky. He
Mhm.
talked about this incident where he was going to a hospital and he was going to see somebody a loved one who was kind of sick. And when he got
Mhm.
there and he was walking down the corridor, somebody comes up and tells his son, "Oh, this is so and so. Oh yeah, come on, go take a picture with my son." Okay, dude, he was in the hospital.
Right.
Read the room, read the room.
Yeah.
But to
Right.
him, he wasn't thinking about what this man is going through, why he's there in the first place. But just because
Right.
he's a superstar, he cuts that off and just decides, hey, you gotta take a picture. You gotta take a picture with my son. No, ask, just ask. Sometimes I'm like, no, and say, okay, it's cool. Maybe another day, and say, oh, it's okay, maybe another day. But there's some
Yeah.
people like those fans. Remember those fans, right? They'll be like, hey, no, oh, they'll be on social media. Look, this person decided that they don't want to talk to me. They don't want to do this. They don't want to do that. And I think that's when you're tied down as a star or a superstar, where you can't have that. You're obliged to take a picture because that's your fan. I think
Right.
that you have, and again,
And
sometimes it's
no, for sure. And that, no, thank you for sharing that. One other celebrity encounter, and this is actually like a Zoom virtual moment that we, with our former guest, Olu, I was able to be a part of one of his sessions with KG from Naughty by Nature. And there was a certain part of the interview where he like addressed me directly. I actually made a reel about it a while ago. So that was cool. And he was super cool with all of us.
what did you do?
But
Did you scream like that, or you just
no,
wait?
no, it was just cool. It was just cool. We kind of
Felt butterflies.
played.
You felt butterflies in your tummy, like,
Come on, I'm too cool for that now. Like, you know
Hey,
what I mean?
no, no, Jen, come on. You can have that moment like that.
No, it was cool. It was fun, but I'm
Uh,
not. It was no butterflies. You know what I mean? Like, but it was
yeah,
cool.
yeah. Okay.
It was cool. So then I did want to mention. I was trying to think of a news story of a rapper that was shot in a diner, and that was rapper PNB Rock. um, who sadly lost his life not too long ago in September of 2024 at a South Los Angeles restaurant. And he was, robbed and shot right in front of, many people. And he didn't have security, with him. He was just out with his girlfriend, I believe, and they just came in there. A really tragic situation. So, it's not all fun and games. It could be really, a life or death moment. And I think people just need to, conduct themselves a little better.
Who?
I think the general public, like you said, read the room. Am I at a doctor's office? Am I at a hospital? Am I at the cemetery? Like, and I'm coming across them. If you're at the mall or something like that, it's a little more lighthearted. As long as you're not threatening their personal safety. I mean, I think fair greeting is acceptable, but anything else, I think you should ask permission for pictures and filming and things, or anything, touching. Some people, like, especially when they have the kids out, they cover their, like, I feel like you should just ask permission because it's just a personal space barrier, and it's an invasion of privacy, which is kind of interesting. That was the name of one of Cardi B's album, Invasion of Privacy, because I'm sure ever since being a reality star, it's just been whirlwind every time you go out in the public. And she's familiar with that, but it's like a matter of crossing the line, and that's what we're talking about.
I think even Eminem has a song about that. That when he's out with his kids, don't come at him. He's trying to have fun with his kids, and you're there trying to take a picture or invade his privacy. But hey, again,
and he has a really interesting song about like that fan culture that was part of one of
Stan,
the things we wanted, Stan, where we wanted to talk about that fandom culture and people just really obsessed.
that's the best song I think in that album of his. That's the first
Yeah,
album, Stan. Oh man, the way he
that was
writes
a
it.
good one.
You know what? It sounds like a narrative podcast, but it's changed to it had songs to it. Because remember in
Absolutely,
that,
because he's totally, giving it to you in the voice of the other person.
yes,
So it
Stan.
was very creative. Yeah, definitely dope song. Yeah.
It's like, oh snap, my girlfriend's the back of the car. Boom. He writes, he's writing the letter to Stan, telling Stan, "Hey,
Oh,
wait,
and then the response. So he
yeah." So
flips
he
it,
responds to
like,
Stan, yeah,
yeah, it starts
and he's
off
like,
in
"Oh,
Stan's
what?"
voice.
Right, and then I think he remembers, "Oh, you must be the guy that girlfriend, whatever." Like, wow, that was a
Yeah,
masterpiece.
that was clever.
Yeah,
Yeah, very clever. People, he thought about that one for sure. Definitely a classic for sure. What else do we
for
have?
the
So we
Gen
talked about
Z's
the
out there, go and listen to Stan. That's a nice one. Love it.
yeah. So we talked about, celebrity privacy, the fandom culture. Now, stakes of being a content creator, what's crossing the line, things that you need to consider when you're out here making content. I try to be a little more posty, but these are things we need to consider.
Yeah, I think when I do my podcast on Sambaza podcast, and when I'm putting stuff out there, I usually tend to say what type of what how would I feel if I'm on the other side. And
Mm-hmm.
there's some instances I've had to cut off some conversations, and I think there's only one podcast I've never put out, and this was because
Mm-hmm.
somebody said that they wanted a redo, and I wanted it had been a while, and
Mm-hmm.
when we did the redo, not we did the redo, we did that one, and it was so nice. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I worked so hard on it, and they said they wanted a redo because of something they had said over there. Though I didn't feel that it was anything wrong with it because I listened to it
Right.
and I was yeah, but um, considering where they were working and what they were doing, I said, you know what, that's fine. I took
A
it off
redo of the whole thing, or it could have like been edited a section out, right?
the whole thing. And to me,
Yeah.
it took me a long time, and I felt like, okay, fine, we'll just
Yeah,
leave it at that.
someone did me like that one time and never again. And I think I shared, it was like someone that I was cool with too. And so they thought like, oh, well, I have an inside thing and I could just, what? I don't like that. Let's just, yeah, I don't like that. I'm like, what? This isn't a Burger King have it your way podcast, honey. This is gender. This is my ish, So yeah, that was a lesson learned, though. Even though you familiar and cool with somebody, you have to establish boundaries.
Yeah,
Boundaries.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I think for me, I'll always look at the whatever content I'm putting out, and then if it looks like it's very sensitive, I'll edit it myself.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna make the choice yours to decide. It's gonna be
Right.
my choice of what to edit, and if it feels like it's something like it's icky or you might have said something, the only thing is this: the way we do this online thing, like right now live, is really dangerous
Right.
because now you don't have time to edit. Everybody can say anything at any time, and you be like, "What the?" But when it's the one where you have the podcast and you have time to edit it and it's pre-recorded, you
Mhm.
actually have time to take it out. So I think I do my due diligence, and I'm very conscious and intentional about what I want my listeners to listen and what to see, because it, it also implies about you. Are you chasing? And that's one of the questions. Are you chasing for clicks, or are
Mhm.
you chasing for content? I'm chasing for
Right.
content, chasing for clicks. So if I chase for you, I chase for you because you have content that's good enough to be put out there. But I'm not chasing for the clicks. If it's the clicks, man, we could talk about a whole lot of stuff, and I bet you would have millions and millions of clicks, or 2 point something million. But that's not it. There's a
Mhm.
long term deal that you're looking at, and that's the reason why I'm like, okay, I have to present you to the world in a certain etiquette, and I also looked at
Mhm.
as a podcaster with a certain etiquette, and that's another reason why I always tell people journalism and podcasting go hand in hand, like we talked in the beginning. And I've been taking journalism classes, getting
Mhm.
certificates for journalism because I believe they are also a foundation of podcasting because they're the same thing. You're speaking to the
Yeah.
masses. So
Absolutely. Yeah, I definitely have um my undergraduate is in communications, which basically is, journalism, PR, advertising, all the fun stuff of journalism. So I, applaud and kudos to you for pursuing some additional education. Definitely a proponent and advocate for education. So that makes me happy that you are seeking that out. So shout out to you. And kudos, y'all, to Sambaza for working on
thank you.
that. For sure. This is nothing to sneeze at. Like I said, these are global podcasts that we're working on. We definitely working to get better, improve it, and things like that. So you definitely have to sharpen your tools as you go along. So we are in a good sweet spot. Any takeaways before we wrap up?
I wanted to hear about your view on that part of the privacy. I know we've talked about it. Kind of sum it up on your end, because you're giving me flowers.
Yeah. Yeah.
You gave me a lot of
What?
flowers.
Did. We don't do it too often, but
I know. Yeah, I was kind of thinking about what would you, on your side, what do you think, especially with the you know on your content, when you approach a situation like
right.
that, where you kind
Yeah.
of guess and say, hey, is this content going to be right for my people, or is it something that I have to hold on, even though I might get clicks for that, or you might put a short on that particular part, and it may go viral.
Right. I feel like there's maybe some internal checks. I mean, I feel like it's good to just grab content and then you can go back over it later. Maybe you caught something that's interesting, maybe you didn't. Maybe you just want some B-roll to slide into different things. So I can appreciate people just filming, just stuff going by, maybe nothing really going on per se, just to have content. Especially I know processes videos, like you're starting something and then they speed it up when those are really popular, getting ready, beginning and end. So I can appreciate all of that, but I think you just want to ask yourself, like, this is this organic? Does it feel forced? What are you trying to accomplish with this? And are you looking to be viral? You know what I mean? I think it's different. It doesn't feel awkward. Like if you're really like, I want to be viral, and am dipping my toe in the influencer brand ambassador game. And we've talked about that here. We've had, brand influencer experts. Shout out to Billy Thorpe and all of the great experts who have shared, the platform with us. But so I received a brand ambassadorship with a company.
Oh, yay.
um, I'll be posting about that soon. And then another one I have started working with is called Binnable. And it's kind of an affiliate marketing thing. But what's interesting is that you get extra points for sharing your favorite products. Really great. And then you get like bonus points for engagement on TikTok. And then some of the TikTok videos that you have to engage with, shout out to all of them for putting themselves out there. But some of them are literally like, I want to be viral. I want to be, everybody should aspire to do something, but I just really feel like the intention behind it, you know I always feel like dig deeper, dig deeper. You know what I mean? Like that's just me. And I feel like you can do both. I feel like I can be a woke, conscious influencer, ambassador, and still be, walk in my femininity and blackness and all of the things. You know what I mean? So yeah, so it's interesting.
Oh, okay. Okay. Cool. Cool. So to sum up, I would say that this is a topic that most podcasters need to listen to, and also people actually need to listen to. I think my thing is, with the responsibility that you are quoted for having this mic and having the name out here like Sambaza, like this, you need to have some type of understanding what you project and what you say out there. Yes, some people are looking for clicks, some look for content, some just do it for fun. Whichever way it is, just be responsible and
There
also
you
understand
go.
the two parts to everything.
Absolutely. Definitely there's responsibility in all the things. And you can do all the things and it's, have your aspirations and goals. And yeah, so I see the value in that.
Amen. So with that, Jen,
Um,
I'll say take us home.
And we thank you guys for joining us. We hope that you found today's episode and conversation inspiring and enlightening. If you found today's episode meaningful, we ask that you consider sharing it with friends, family, colleagues. Our collective awareness and advocacy play a crucial role in creating positive change. Stay tuned for more engaging content, and we look forward to continuing these important conversations in the future. And with that, we will see you later and say, take care. At this time, we're going to go ahead and conclude the episode. We greatly appreciate you listening. We invite you to follow us on social media. On Instagram, it is Woke by Accident Podcast. On Twitter, it is Woke by. On Facebook, it is Woke by Accident Podcast. We also have the new website up, www.wokebyaccident.net. Please check us out. And also follow us on all of your favorite streaming platforms. And please leave a review and share feedback. You can also reach out by Gmail, wokebyaccident@gmail.com. And every time you listen, we appreciate it so much. Thank you for listening and take care.